Dee 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 dee. Keto living is the life for me.
Save's
Coffee,
morning
cooking,
routine.
and recipes.
He grabs however many
Spending
toys
my
he can.
days with my
Look, now he knows he's
doggies.
on camera.
So be a sport. Set your alarm for
And then
Wednesdays for
he
the
finds the one
Warden's
with,
report.
I guess, the squeaky that still works. Welcome to the Warden Report. Another week. I would say another $1, but I don't know about that. Well, we'll see. Anyhow, welcome. How have your week... Like, I cannot speak today. Okay, how has your week been? How are you doing? What's going on? Are you doing the B, 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 and E? Are you just doing keto? Are you, what is your goal for this month? What is it you're trying to improve on yourself? And that doesn't necessarily have to be food related. That could be like something personal, like, oh, I'm trying to talk nicer to myself. I think that's a great goal to have. I'm trying to walk more, something like that. I'm just interested. I like to see what all you're up to. So for me, it is Thursday. So yes, I didn't film yesterday. Yesterday was just because I was off Tuesday for a holiday, we all know. And then Wednesday, being back at work, it was just like, just felt busy. So, and then I had like back-to-back meetings, and then plus I had some training. So I'm finding out on my new role, like I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. So I just worked these tickets. That's awesome. I got this. Oh, there's all kinds of these different special reports that different team members do. And so, which is cool. And like my manager was telling me, then this way you're not like getting bored with the monotony of just working tickets. There's all these other things. And she doesn't like just one person only knowing how to do something. She likes to have backups of backups, and also not just being like, okay, when that person's out, then I'll do it, but like rotating through, which is cool, right? So it's cool that I'm learning new things and doing this. So I had the training for it yesterday. Today I'm actually doing the item. And then my work sister, she's going on a cruise on Saturday. And so she's going to be out all next week. I'm so sad, y'all. Like, who am I? Even though I work from home, it's like when you make a relationship with another coworker and they're not there, you feel alone, right? Does anyone else experience that? Because it's like, well, I'm technically at home, but it's like when I know my work sister's there, I just feel like I'm in an office. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but that's where I'm at. And she's the one who got me this awesome mug. I mean, the girl knows me, right? So yes, so yesterday I just did a water fast, just a little water fast. And today I am basically breaking it. So just a short 36 hours. So I'm having my first cup of black coffee. It is 10:30. So I've technically been up for 3 hours. So I'm, again, just kind of doing that. I feel like really when it comes to coffee, I don't use coffee as, oh, I need energy. Like, oh, it's more of, I enjoy it. I enjoy the taste of it. So I want to keep doing it. And I don't know if y'all are hearing him. Let's see. There is Sam. Look at him. He's like, yeah, what? Am I being loud? But yeah, we gave him a ribeye bone. So he's been enjoying that. And yeah, so that's what's going on with me. Let me click on this. Sorry, someone asked me a question. So yeah, I just been enjoying that. I feel like it's good to do these intermittent water fasts just to kind of help keep that gut healing itself. I feel like with 24 to 36 hours just seems to really help with the gut healing. And that's, again, my main focus. And then, it's good to also get the water in. So, yeah, that's what I have been up to. And then I will be breaking my fast somewhat soon here. But I watched something, right? Someone actually posted this. So I have varied friends, right, on Facebook. It's not everybody's just keto people or family. Like, I have other people that I've met through other means, like we all do, right? So one of them, let me put it this way. I have a lot of friends that are very body positive, right? They just feel like, there shouldn't be this focus on you have to be a certain size or a certain shape or a certain age or anything. That, you're beautiful who you are. And I truly believe that, you don't have to look a certain way, right? So I'm going to read you what I read, and this might be a little controversial. So I'm going to flip it, show it, and then I'll read it to you. So praising weight loss is often the catalyst for a person developing or sliding further into disordered eating or a full-blown eating disorder. And there's who said it. So I saw that, and I feel like, again, I've talked about this a lot, and y'all can leave me a comment or, give me your thoughts in regards to that, right? So I'm going to pause, let you think of that, what that was. What are your thoughts? Comment below. So we're going to start off this week with a bang, y'all. So I feel like a lot of times in the keto and carnivore now, like when I first started keto, like you didn't hear about carnivore. Like that was not like a stepping stone. So if you're new to keto, if you've only been keto for like less than 2 years, it wasn't keto, carnivore, and all this. It was keto. And then the carnivore community was just a totally different community. So like if you go to Zero Carb Health, ran by Dana Spencer, who's been carnivore for over 10 years, she didn't start off keto. And a lot of the carnivores that have been carnivores for over a decade, and those are the people I kind of listen to because, somebody who's only been carnivore for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I mean, you're still got a lot to learn and work out. Because even Dana, she said it wasn't until like the 5th year mark that then she noticed her body needs were kind of changing while doing that carnivore for so long. So again, that's why I feel like if you're looking for carnivore advice, go to someone who I would consider a veteran and not somebody who's like, oh, I've been doing carnivore for 6 months and this is how you should do it. Like, I mean, it's great if people want to get out there and talk about their journey and how they're doing it. Great on them. As far as I see that sometimes people in the carnivore community are like, oh, you can't have spices. Oh, you can't have a condiment. Oh, you can't do this. Oh my gosh. And it's like, how long have you been carnivore? How long have you been doing this? And they're like, yeah, but that's not meat. Oh my gosh. And it's like, well, yeah, but the veterans will tell you, people who've been doing over 10 years, condiments are okay. Spices are okay. You are still considered carnivore because your spices and your condiments should not be the majority of what you're eating. Now, if for some reason you're piling up on ketchup and have 2 ounces of beef beside it, then yeah, that's a problem. But most people, if you're having like a hot sauce, it's just to add a little flavor. And they see nothing wrong with that. That's still considered carnivore. Now, if you are if you're doing carnivore for health reasons and you're trying to pinpoint what is wrong, then yeah, they do suggest for the first 90 days that you go very, very clean meat only with salt. Actually, Dana doesn't even push salt, but you just go meat and then you figure out your health issues. But beyond that, if you're just doing carnivore generally to be healthy, you don't have any immediate health concern, then yeah, spices are okay. Condiments are okay. So on with that, I am like, this is what we do, y'all. So when it comes to that, I was thinking about the weight loss, as we see so many channels, so many influencers, so many people all the time that they focus on weight loss. And I feel like that does do a disservice, and it does discount people, again, where it's like, well, if you're not losing weight, or if you're not at your goal weight, or if you're not looking a certain way, are you even doing it correctly? Like, oh my gosh, how is that? Or, and this probably controversial, there are people in the keto carnivore community that have eating disorders. And by going through, and the people that have the eating disorders, like I have seen it so many times, like back when regular eating, binge and purge, right? Oh, I'm going to binge this whole weekend and then purge. I've seen that a lot in the keto sphere, where people binge on crap food and then they fast for a week or whatever, or they do something like that. That's still the binge and purge mentality, because they're thinking, oh, okay, I ate bad, so now I got to get it out of my system, and then, oh, then I can just keep doing that. That's still binge and purge. Or I'll see people who do the extreme fasting, which is just going back to anorexia. And I feel like eating disorders are not really looked at. They're not really discussed. People actually avoid those and avoid that tough conversation when you see a friend, you see someone you care about, and you know they have an eating disorder. But how often do you even try to approach that? How often do you say, you know what, I notice you do this a lot. Like, we need to get to the mental part of it and address that. But instead, what do? Oh, wow, you're looking so great. How much weight have you lost now? Wow, look at you. You've gotten so small, blah, blah, blah. What does that tell the person with an eating disorder? What I'm doing is correct, because look, I'm getting more praise by having this eating disorder now. And nobody has told me otherwise. Everybody says I look great. Everybody says my weight loss is amazing. Everybody looks up to me because I've lost all this weight now. But how do I tell them, well, it's because I binge and purge, or I'm an anorexic? You know, how do I tell them that? Well, I'll just sugarcoat it a little bit, and, then, they probably won't see the same results because they're not doing the extremes that I am. They are only hearing that positive reinforcement of, I have to keep on this track because that's how people appreciate and respect me. That's how I garner people's affection, is by doing something extreme so that people notice that, oh, I've lost weight, or I'm looking smaller. And what I was reading on the comments is, it's like, you really have to, instead of talking to a person about their weight and about their weight loss, instead check on how they're doing. Like, say, oh, I just love your eyes. Oh, that's a beautiful outfit. Oh, that's so great. You've been more active. Oh, that's great that you're getting out there. Oh, your confidence is shining. Where it's not focused on weight. Because I really feel like in our society, we focus so much on having to weigh a certain amount, having to look a certain amount, that we degrade ourselves for not matching that. And that's really sad to me, because those ideologies, those society requests, that's not normal. That is not something we should strive for. We should be striving for being healthy, for being happy, for being mentally stable. That should be our goal. So instead of having weekly weigh-ins and focusing on what did the scale tell me this week and how am I doing this week? Am I doing correct? You know, did the scale move? Like everybody focused on that. Like I don't even watch those videos. Because to me, that's a negative mindset to sit there and only focus on, oh, this is what the scale said this week or this day or this month. Like when that's all you focus on, that's the negative mindset. I instead want to hear check-ins of, you know what? I've been really sticking in with this keto all week. I am feeling good. Like my energy's good. I started walking every evening. Or, you know what, I'm checking in because I feel like my clothes are feeling better. Or I feel like my hair is getting thicker. Or I have more energy. Oh, I was able to sit on the floor and get up. Y'all, that's amazing at my age. Those are the type of check-ins. Or even seeing things like, you know, I noticed I had more clarity when I was thinking this week. I noticed I felt better about myself. You know what I did this week? Every day I gave 3 gratitudes and appreciated myself. I found that I'm loving myself more. I'm accepting of myself how I am because beauty is on the inside, not the shell that's on the outside. And just pushing that through. I would love to see more of those types of weekly check-ins. Weekly check-in of my mental health. That is something we need to be praising and we need to uplift and show support of that. Like I think if we showed more support towards individuals that are putting out their actual NSVs and actual health goals, that maybe we would lesser the ones that are posting about their weight loss. And if we stop giving that kudos to people who are posting about their weight loss journey, we stop doing that instead and be like, okay, whatever happened with the scale, who cares? How are you doing mentally and healthy? Like, where's your health markers right now? Where's your mental markers? That's what we need to focus. And I feel like in the keto sphere, the more we keep focusing on weight loss, and I've said this before, the more the general public only looks at keto and carnivore as a diet. Because that's the diet mentality. And until we change our mentality, our look at how we see ourselves, how we see weight loss, and how we see health, that's what most people are going to hear. And because that's what's going to keep going out there, people really aren't going to go for keto when they have true health conditions. Because there are thin people who have health problems. I know, like, oh my gosh, what? I thought only fat people got health problems. No, thin people also have health problems. So when you go to them and you're like, oh, you have fatty liver, you should try keto. They'll be like, oh, I don't need to lose weight. Why would I do that? Or they'll be like, well, you know, I'll just do keto maybe because I wouldn't mind losing 5 pounds. They forget about the health aspect. And if you're not focused on the health, you're going to be more apt to look at keto as a diet. And so then when you look at keto as a diet or carnivore, then what happens is you look at it that way. And so then you start framing your words around, ooh, I'm going to have a treat on this vacation. I'm going to treat myself to this or that. You pay attention to those words you use. When you consider food that has no nutritional value, food that is actually harmful to you as a treat, why? Why is that what you consider a treat? To me, a treat is something that's going to make me better, that's going to make me healthier. That's a treat. That's what a treat does. It makes things better. So I'm going to treat myself with a freaking ribeye. and put some butter on it, because that actually has nutrition and will make me better. So those are my thoughts. I can't wait to read y'all's thoughts on this, and we'll just see how this week goes. And I'll show you in a little bit when I break my fast. It is a rainy day, which is good because we do need the rain. It's been like so hot forever, so it is nice to have rain. I'm sure by tomorrow it'll be all dried back up, but I'm glad. I like rainy days. Hashtag rainy days if you enjoy it too. So it's a little after 1:30. I'm technically going to break my fast. Here's that. It's called golden kefir when you combine turmeric with it. And this is that goat kefir. Honestly, y'all, I love supporting like local. I just don't think their goat kefir, I just can't get into. It really tastes rancid, but I mean, it shouldn't be. It's definitely got, you know, the bubbles and stuff, which is what it's supposed to have. I watched a video on how you make your own kefir, and I was like, oh, I could do that. You have to get the kefir grains, and it was a pretty simple process. And I know I can get raw milk from that dairy farm, so I could definitely make my own kefir. But that Kelowna brand is really good. But yeah, basically what you do is you put the kefir grains in it and you put it in the raw milk. You don't want pasteurized. And you just let it ferment on the shelf. So you basically do spoil the milk, but the bacteria grow in there and basically ferment the milk. But man, this fermentation, ugh. Like, I can't even smell it, y'all. Okay, I'm going to try to go this real quick. Whew. It is just very, very acidic. I mean, it's not like, I know I said it smells or tastes spoiled. It doesn't actually taste spoiled. Like, it's not like that sour. It's just very, very acidic. So I don't know if it's the kefir grains they're using or what, or if it's just because it's goat milk. Something just makes it highly acidic. Like, have you ever had just straight apple cider vinegar, and you know how it'll give that real acidic front in your mouth, which I generally am okay with. Like, this isn't the worst thing. I'm drinking it. Obviously, I paid for it. I am going to drink it. So, it's just the Kelowna brand that I get, which is a cow's milk. It's just so smooth. Like, I really enjoy that. Like, that I could just drink. This, even with the turmeric, it's just little cutting edge to it. And I know just Jen was like, oh, add blueberries and pecans and blend it together. But I'm just trying to drink it straight. I add the turmeric because that's a good prebiotic. And I'm just trying to get as pure as possible on the kefir so that my gut has those pure bacteria in there. It's just, whew, it's a little much to take, to be honest. The regular cow kefir is good. The goat, I don't know. I wish that I really would like it, but all right, and probably in about 30 minutes I'll be having my full lunch, so I will show you all that. Thursday lunch, breaking my fast. So we've got some brisket that he cooked on the smoker, overnight brisket, just seasoned with the Redmond seasonal. And then I do have my avocado mayo. I know, y'all, I'm the worst. And then some kimchi and my pickled ginger. And then I've got my last part of my coffee heated up with some butter. And then, of course, I top with cinnamon. And that is my lunch today. Thursday dinner. I cannot believe it's Thursday already, y'all. So I've got 6 slices of bacon. I cut them in half, so then it seems like I have a lot. And then I've got my kimchi. And under here is my pickled ginger. There we go. Get it in the light. pickled ginger. And then I've got this is my Primal Kitchen mayo, and I've got a little bit of hot sauce and then some flat iron seasoning. And then, yes, I have this chunk of cheese because before BBBB&E, we opened up a package of that wonderful farm cheese from Canada. Shout out Mary T. So because the package is opened, then it can spoil. So I'm just eating that up just a little bit each day. So that's probably about 2 or 3 ounces. That'll be it. And there's just, like, it wasn't a whole bunch, probably enough for me to eat on for 4 days. So I'm just going to cycle that out. And yeah, and I'm changing the kimchi. Mindy Pell says, it's good to change out the different kimchis. And in fact, I was telling my coach, and she said, yeah, that's a great idea. She goes, especially since you're doing gut health, you got to keep up with the kimchis and all of your pre and probiotics. She's like, keep that up. If anything, increase it to make up for the BBB&E so that you make sure you're still introducing those healthy bacteria in your gut. She just is like concerned doing that for such a long period, 31 days. She's like, I don't want you to mess up your gut by having that, because that could definitely happen. So she's like, so definitely get your pre and probiotics in and keep that going so that I keep my gut healthy, and which is my main goal. Happy Friday. Guess what I got today? Y'all, it's just nitro, right? It's not, look, I don't even show you. So it's not all the sweeteners and all that stuff, but I wasn't even going to go. Did you all know that Dutch, not only do they send you a free cup on your birthday, they do a half birthday. So because it's basically halfway to my next birthday, right? I'm born in January. They send a coupon, but it's half off. So you get half off because it's halfway to your birthday. So I was like, well, I gotta have it. So Heath went today since he was out doing his grocery errands. And shout out, I just love that he does the grocery shopping, like on days that I'm working or just without me. I know he loves if I'm with him, and he get frustrated if something doesn't go right, and he'll be like, what do I do? But honestly, like, I just love it. I'm not like a person that needs to get out. I think I would do well to be a hermit because I enjoy my home. I love my home. I feel safe in my home. All my favorite things are in my home. So I don't feel the need to have to get out of my house, right? So I shout out Heath if you're watching this, and I know sometimes he does. But anyways, if you are, thank you so much. I love you, babe, because I really, really enjoy that. So anyways, since he was out, he went to Dutch and got me a nitro cold brew. Got it toasted or hot. But see, this one happens. Like, this is a 16 ounce. That's why I was telling y'all, okay, my one experience a day, can't I split that between 2 cups? Because even though it's still 16 ounces, that's my coffee experience ends up 16 ounces. Like, it's hard for me to drink all 16 ounces with it still being hot. So like this, I'm halfway through, well, maybe 2/3 through. It's already cold. Because what happens, I get sidetracked. I'm working, like I'm trying to get these transactions out for people. My time is money. And I stop drinking my coffee because I'm busy, I'm just clicking around here. And then it's cold. So do I just throw it out? Heck no, I ain't gonna throw it out. So I reheat it. So that's why I say, yeah, during the week, I'll have a 16 ounce coffee, but I split it between 2 cups. I still count it as one experience because I like my coffee hot. So even though this is technically a nitro cold brew, I still prefer hot coffee. Let me know below, who is a hot coffee fan? So even in the dead of summer, you still have to have hot coffee? Or are you a cold brew or iced coffee fan. I want to know who's who. So, yes, and it is, I didn't start drinking my coffee. It had already been a couple hours since I was awake, so I've still been doing that. As of right now, I can't really tell a difference, right? Again, coffee isn't something that I'm like, oh, I gotta have it to wake up. It's just something I enjoy drinking. So I don't know if it really, the impact of waiting 90 minutes, if that really is such a thing that has to be done. We'll see. I'll keep doing it for, you know, maybe another week or something and just see if I tell any difference. If you've done that, have you noticed any difference? So, yeah, that's what's going on today. I've been listening to some good talks on YouTube with different doctors. One of them seems like he's plant-based, but he did have some good analogies. You know, just sometimes it's like, okay, take that next step. Because he was saying that he's a scientist first, and he does all this research into Mediterranean diet. But, so I guess he's not technically 100% plant-based, because he's good with fatty fishes like salmons. So it's just, anyhow. So yeah, he was all talking about how fat is actually a good thing, that you should have fat on your body, that is important. What happens is when you overdo the fat, basically if you have too much visceral fat, and how that's harmful, and that's why fatty liver disease is harmful. And I feel like once you've done keto long enough, you actually reverse that fatty liver. So you are getting rid of the bad fat. So it's okay to have brown fat, but it's the visceral we want to work on getting away from, right? So, you know, in time, that does help. But he had some, like, good thoughts, as you heard in my other clip where I was talking about, sorry, something popped up. When I was talking about not to be so weight focused, because, like, he had this really good analogy. He was like, look, in our society, because he was talking to a gentleman that was in the UK. In UK, he said they're really focused now on health goals instead of weight loss. He said their mind shift has changed over there to where they're not so focused on the scale anymore. They're more focused on getting healthy and being a healthy person. Like, they realize, hey, you know what? Just being skinny does not mean healthy. And they address that, of course. But the other doctor was Dr. William Lee, if you want to look him up. But he was saying that in the U.S., you know, we still have this. He said, but if you look at things, he said, healthy, like if you look at the fittest people in the world, that there are still different body types. He said, like, for example, if you're looking at like a ballerina versus a boxer, they're both very healthy people, but they're two different body shapes, right? Or he was talking about like a runner, which is going to be like tall and lanky, versus some other sport. Anyways, we'll just say another Olympic sport. They all have different body types and different builds. And he also said ethnicity determines that as well, because different ethnic groups also have different body builds. So instead of focusing on the scale, you should just be focusing on health. And then the one that I really liked is he said, think of anybody who follows UFC. So think of them. They have 4 different classes, right? They have the featherweight, the medium weight, whatever belt. You know, I follow some, but I don't stick it, you know, all the way. And they have heavyweight, right? And they have 4 different belts for those. Now, all of those gentlemen, or you know, women as well, sorry, all 4 of those different classes are all considered healthy. Now, I know between you and me, sometimes they don't always eat healthy, but you know, they exercise, they work out, and grow their muscles and do things to really get them that endurance and strength and all that they need, right? But they look at that, 4 different classes, because weight does not determine your health value. Some people are naturally going to be featherweights. They're naturally going to be a smaller shaped person, right? No matter how hard they work out and everything, they're not going to make it to the heavyweight. And that could be your ethnic background plus everything else, your genetics and all of that play a hand in that. Versus somebody who is a heavyweight, they might not ever get to a featherweight because, again, for the same reasons. So instead of basing, which is what he was saying, in America, we still have this stigma of what we view as beautiful, as what should be accepted in our society as a healthy, beautiful person. He's like, instead of focusing on that, realize we're all different and focus your intention not on the scale, not by looking a certain way. So focus on your health aspects. And part of gaining that health eventually, your body will drop any excess weight and recomposition your body, which we hear a lot in those that will do carnivore and stuff where you're eating more protein. Your body gets recomped. You might have actually gained some weight, but your body shape changed and you clothes are looser now, right? Because that goes back to that same thing. Stop focusing on the scale and what you think society says you should look like, that, should be the standard, and focus instead on your health goal. Look at those as your goals and work towards those and love who you are, because that's part of reaching your health goal. Is not just, okay, I'm going to no longer be a diabetic, but part of that health goal is your mental health goal. So that's accepting who you are in the skin you're in today. Not what you want to be, but who you are today. Because part of loving yourself and accepting yourself and speaking positive affirmations about yourself is part of that health goal, y'all. So please make that one of your goals, one of your challenges, however you want to look at it, is to accept who you are. Accept your outside skin, your outside body shape, and say, you know what? I love you. You've got, I love this tummy. It's a round tummy. It's there to protect me. It's nice. It's soft. It's plushable. And you know what? I'm going to love you no matter what size you are. And thank you for being there to provide this health for me, so that I could continue getting the rest of my body healthy. Like, just rephrase those to yourself. So I'm going to stop going on and get back to work. And then pretty soon I'll have lunch. So I'll show you what that is. Friday lunch. So I've got my burger patty. We just pre-made these. Yes, I got a little more of that farm fresh cheese. It's almost gone. I've got like one more piece left. Some bacon. Ginger, that's my pickled ginger, kimchi, and mayo with some spices. And that's my lunch for Friday. Saturday lunch, however, it's like almost 3 o'clock, y'all. We've been so busy and we slept in. Actually, this handsome fella didn't wake up till 10 a.m., y'all. I mean, you did wake up earlier, right?
At 4, and then I went back to sleep.
Well, I'm so proud of you. So he definitely got some rest. And we have cooked up that restaurant bacon from Sam's, the Members Mark restaurant style bacon. So we'll have that review coming out. Ooh, look at that. Does not. There we go. So we've got that. So I'm going to be eating on this for my lunch. And then over here, I've got some mayo. That is the primal. I'm just using that. A little bit of hot sauce. My kimchi. My ginger. I love my pickled ginger, y'all. Look at that. Anybody else a ginger fan? I just love this stuff. It's probably not as thin as it should be, but oh my gosh, it's so good. And then I am having my coffee experience of the day, just butter. That's it. And then I've got the last bit of this farm cheese. Jersey Ln. This is from Canada. Well, I don't know why nothing wants it's there we go. But anyways, I got that from Canada, from Mary T. And I'm just enjoying it. Ain't gonna let that go to waste. Right? So see, that's what's left of it. I'm gonna finish that today. And then no more cheese for me for the rest of the month. Saturday night dinner. So what we've got here is restaurant bacon. I've got my ginger kimchi, some Fage yogurt, 2 fried eggs fried in the bacon grease. Look how they're just all puffed up. And then a little bit of brisket and butter. And then I am drinking Aha's pomegranate or blueberry pomegranate. And yeah, that'll complete my day. Happy Monday. Great start to the week. I am having my coffee, and again, I'm still waiting that hour and a half or more. Like today it was more because it is busy at work, and I mentioned earlier about how I got trained on new things. Basically, if you're in the banking world, now I know how to do wires. Watch out. So bright and early this Monday morning, they're like, oh, guess what, Shelly? We've got several wires you could work on. And I'm like, ugh. And then plus we're like swamped because it's always busy on Monday. So I'm not going to make this too long. Just checking in, letting you know, yes, a couple hours in, and I am having my morning or my 1 coffee experience a day. I have to tell you, that to me is probably the hardest part of this whole BBB and E, even though I'm doing modifications. I know, like I'm truly not doing BBB, BE, but I'm trying to, other than I'm adding in, you know, my probiotics and prebiotics, right? But anyhow, I am limiting it to 1 cup of coffee per day, or 1 coffee per day, 1 experience per day. Because like today it poured, and Heath has been pouring like 16 ounces, but it only ended up being 12. So I feel like I'm shorted. But anyhow, so that's what I'm doing, which is sometimes hard because like last night on Sunday on the coffee talk, just adjusting that. On the coffee talk, I was like, gosh, now I really want a cup of coffee. Like sometimes it's like, you know, it's my emotional support beverage. So anyhow, having my coffee, and this does have a tablespoon of butter, and I do put cinnamon in mine and my iodine. What do y'all like to put in your coffee? Again, I'm not much of a sweet coffee person, except if it's like an actual treat. So like when we go to Dutch, I feel like that's like my treat, is to get that like sweet Dutch coffee. But this month, so we're not doing that this month because 1, trying to follow that, so no sweeteners this month, and then 2, I feel like that'd be torture to Heath because he loves going there and getting that rainbow, and I don't want to torture him. So I know it was hard for him last week when I had half off of a nitro at Dutch. I know he was like really like jonesing for a rainbow, so I don't want to torture him. So anyways, so yeah, have a coffee at home. So I won't be having any sweet coffee this month, which is fine. I can do that. I've gone without sweeteners before. I feel like I've done this so long. I've done about everything. So, well, except for, like, I ain't going to do the sardine thing. But anyways, like, you know, I was carnivore for over a year. And then I have gone without sweeteners to see if that was having any impact. I have gone without dairy for, I think it was like 2 months without dairy. And so I've tried those different things, you know, as you just try. I feel like you once you've done it long enough, you're like, well, let's see, do I? Or sometimes you just need that to see, okay, am I really having too much sweets, so let's do away with the sweets and see what happens kind of deal. Or let's, cut out all treats and see what happens. Nothing wrong with that, right? I feel like even if you weren't in keto, right, just normal life, sometimes you do those things too, where you're like, you know what, this month I'm just not going to go buy any coffee at a coffee shop, right? Because you're like, I'll save my money this month, which honestly, that is a couple things I'm looking forward to, because some people have said before, and I said I was going to make this short, but that BBB and E can be pricey because you're buying, mostly beef. And I'm like, but, we're not getting Dutch every week, and that was costing us about $13 or $14 on a weekly basis. So right there, I've saved at least $50 this month just by not doing that. That's awesome. And then Heath was going through those Lily's bars, and they're at minimum $3 a bar. So, hey, all of those are saved. So, it's those little things that you don't always think of that you're like, oh, okay, it's saving. And plus, he's not having to buy his Bang or energy drinks, and he's not buying any more Zevias or anything this month. So, hey, there's more savings. I know the energy drinks, that's about $40 for a month, at least. Sometimes you get them twice in a month. So, hey, saving, which we could put more on ribeyes. So, yeah. Anyhow, I got to get back to work. Thank you, and I will tune in and let you know what I have for lunch. I am going to break my fast with a little bit of kefir, and I'll show you this new kefir brand and kind of give you my thoughts on it. Okay, y'all, so this week's kefir is by Green Valley. See, it says plain whole milk kefir, but it says drinkable yogurt, which I guess that's kind of what it is. Now, this one says lactose free, but it says grade A milk. Oh, they add enzymes to break down the milk. Okay, but it just says ingredients is organic, pasteurized, cultured whole milk, and a lactose enzyme. So here's my thing with this. So I have here a half a cup. I did add in my turmeric and a dash of cinnamon. I just want some cinnamon. I have found, because I've drank it a couple days now, I have found that it tastes almost exactly like yogurt. So I normally eat the Fage 5%, and it just feels like this, just a little bit thinner. So normally, like with the Kelowna brand, and definitely with that goat kefir, like you could taste the acidity, that it's a lot more tangy and acidic to it. So I don't know if this is giving me the same amount of probiotics. It just tastes like yogurt, just plain yogurt. Like there's no acidity at all. It's just very, very smooth and light. Maybe because it's lactose free. I don't know. Thoughts? Let me know. If you do drink kefir, what's your favorite brand? All right, Monday's lunch. Heath grilled up on the Blackstone some burger patties. More of that restaurant style bacon, and then I've got my regular Primal Kitchen mayo, the kimchi and ginger, and then the very last piece of the cheddar. I know I said before, oh, I'll finish this cheddar, but it was just too big of a bite. So I've got this. I should definitely finish it up today. And Monday's dinner. So he smoked corned beef. And then I made kind of a fatty mustard sauce. Kind of like a cowboy butter, but a lot more mustard and a little bit of butter. And a little bit of Texas 5 spice. And then here on the side, I've got my ginger and some kimchi. And that'll be dinner. Tuesday lunch. So I've got another one of those little burger patties. I got some of that restaurant bacon. Some regular Primal Kitchen mayo, just finishing up that jar. And I've got the kimchi and some pickled ginger, and then I've got my kefir with some turmeric. And that's my lunch. Tuesday dinner, so I've got a ribeye here, It's bone in. I've got a fried egg, more butter. I did baste it in an herb butter that I made. And then I've got a little bit of pork belly here. There's all the bacon or the butter juices from the steak. Some pickled ginger and my kimchi. And then I've got water. Yeah. So I'm on the couch with this one. She's like, pay attention to me. Me, Mom, me. So I hope y'all enjoyed this week. I'm excited to read your comments, your thoughts, what you're thinking of, you know, all my little opinions here. And yeah, so that wraps up another week. I feel like a bad shadow no matter where I go. I feel like this week went really well, and then my semi BBB, I don't even feel like calling it that, but anyways, just doing what I'm doing. Everything's going well. It has been super busy at work this week, so I haven't gotten on much yesterday or today because it's just been non-stop, like almost to the point where we might have to start like if you want to work through your lunch. So we'll just see. My manager says she thinks we're still pretty good, so we'll see how it goes the rest of the week, right? So yeah, and then tomorrow starts a new week. So thank y'all so much for watching again. I hope you enjoyed it, and y'all have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.